But what they did in my procedure was they laid me out on the table, I put my arm out on another table, and they put a sheet between me and where they were operating on, so that I could not watch the surgery being done on my hand. And when they started cutting me open, I wasn't able to see what they were doing. They did do a local. That was very common, but one thing about back then was the machines were not run by, the equipment was not run by machines. They were run by humans. And humans had to undo the valves instead of machines controlling the valves. And as the surgery started going, I thought, well, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And all of a sudden, a little while into it, I felt pressure in my arm. And when the pressure comes on, what they do is they open up one of the valves to relieve the pressure in your arm. And it felt good for a while. And I could hear them. I was totally aware of what was going on. There was a nurse in there. Unfortunately for the nurse, she had never done this procedure before. But she was very confident through what the doctor was saying that she could do this. And so she opened up the first valve, and they were still cutting away, and they'd cut my here and here and took a tendon out, and they were working on putting pins in my thumb. And all of a sudden it started hurting again. Well, in this procedure, you're supposed to close the first valve and then open the second valve. And unfortunately, because of the nurse, and she was a beautiful young lady in her mid-20s, she was doing the best she could at what she was doing in the procedure. Well, when she opened the second valve up, all of a sudden I felt something go up my arm, across my chest, and the next thing I knew, I was standing above my body watching the operation. It was the most oddest feeling that I've ever had, because I didn't feel any pain anymore. I didn't feel any discomfort. I was standing in a place that I wondered why I was there, but yet it was a very comforting feeling. And what I felt was a person right next to me. You know, we hear about escorts or guardian angels or best friends, you know, taking you to different places, but I did not see this person's face. But what they did is they talked to me through my mind, and it was so unusual because I could hear everything verbally, what was going on in the operating room. I remember that nurse running out of the operating room saying that she had killed me. And I saw the fear in her face. And I didn't blame her. It was something that was supposed to happen to me. I watched people run into that operating room and they were working on me. I looked over at the little machine and it was a flat line. There was nothing, no heartbeat. And I remember looking down at myself wondering, what? That's me. Why is he laying down there on the table? He's supposed to be up here with me. Come! Well, it didn't happen that way. But what happened was I was watching everything that the doctor was doing. I watched him start to stitch me up. I watched him put a pin in my thumb. I remember so vividly that pin being a little bit too long, and how precise he was at making that pin the right size so it wouldn't protrude through my skin. And I watched him put stitches in up here in my arm where he pulled the tendon out. Now there was a sheet between me and the person that was laying down on the table. And I went, how can this be happening? And I got the most comforting feeling from that person that was standing right next to me. He made me feel like I was loved. And it wasn't something that I was used to feeling other than for my wife. After watching him run around the room, trying to revive me, the person next to me said, it's time to go. There was no question. No question, it was time to go.